And my name's Joe.
Yeah, your name's not even on it.
Pledge allegiance.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well,
Call the meeting to order.
yeah,
Where do we go?
welcome. 2026 budget review. I wanna thank everybody, especially department heads who helped pull this together. It wasn't an easy thing, and I appreciate the fact that when I said no, they, let me live. So just some highlights, overview for 2026, nothing you haven't heard before. The revenues, are reduced this year because we don't have the ARPA money going forward and the temporary municipal aid. 2025 was year 2 of 2, so we don't have that in the budget for next year. We have a 2% increase in the sales tax in the budget right now. That's 2% over the 2025 budget. I looked over the weekend and the September sales tax numbers are not published yet. I hope to have something the first week of November so I know where that's gonna come in. Like last year, I ended up adjusting that a little bit based off of, how the third quarter actually rolled in. The tax rate increase for the year is $2.01 per 1,000 of assessment. There's no discretionary capital spending in the budget, except that related to chips and the tree inventory. What is in there is some necessary, capital spending. I think it's the HVAC controllers for City Hall, something that has a Band-Aid on it right now. Salary increases for police, fire, and CSCA. We negotiated and got those contracts completed in 2025, so those increases are in the 26 budget. We have a 2% increase for the management employees who last year had no increase, and negotiations are currently underway with ASME and JCA Jura. Current health insurance projections are in the budget. They're from August. Right now, it's a 14, almost 15% increase in the health plan costs, but we are working on that. We have had some meetings, and we had our last meeting with TPA vendor on Friday, so now we just have to go through the analysis of everybody's proposals to see what we want, who we want to pick, and where we're going to land, and what the impact is on the 2026 budget. Just as a note, the retirement rates, last year I mentioned that they went up, and again, they are up 1.2 to 4.2 points. That's percentage points, which then translates to like a 5.3% to 17.3% increase in the rates. And just for a gauge, the 2026 retirement rates for Tier 6 are up 51% compared to 2024. They were 21%, and they're now 31%. So it's huge. And I don't know what the state comptroller is doing, how those are driven. I've heard a couple of things as far as police and fire. There was a change in disabilities. Somehow that's impacting those rates, but beyond that, I really haven't done a deep dive into trying to figure out what's driving that. So I just know I was a little shocked when I got my projection bill that I don't have to pay in December this year. So here's the revenue and expense summary. The appropriations are up 5.07%. The revenues are down 6%. The net net cost is 21, appropriated fund balance, what we have budgeted to use or draw is 3.3, and the tax levy is 17 million, which is a 7.5% increase. The fund balance use is 304% increase, and it's, you can see in the revenues, it's driven by the 1.5 of ARPA. And, we had there are a couple of, things in the revenue number that are offsetting. The municipal aid has an increase in a couple of pilots. The mayor's work to get more space in the city hall lease at increased rates, so that, and then with the 2% increase in the sales tax, that's all helping bring the number down, even though it's 6%. Here's a breakout of the revenues. So you can see what bills, the state aid is down, sales tax is up, pilots are up, and then the big one is the ARPA. And the real property tax is 7.5%. Property tax is an increase of $1.2 million, almost $1.3 million rounded up. But the fund balance draw is an increase of 2.5 million. Sales tax revenues, just a little chart, you probably have it in your book already of how the sales tax has come in over the past few years. The property tax levy history, so the tax rate, the 26.24, that's up $2.01 over the 25 number of 24.23. Our equalization rate went down, and our full assessment value also went down. So a lot of levers going on that impact everything.
Is that page in our book?
Yes.
Pardon me?
This one is not. Bill, this is what you were asking.
Right.
So for every $100,000 of tax levy decrease, you should see a 0.6% decrease in the tax rate and 14-cent rate reduction. So how do you get to the 100,000? You can decrease expenses, you can increase revenues, you can increase the use of fund balance, or combination of that to get to whatever your 100,000 is. But for every 100, that's the impact.
Is that true of the inverse, where the tax levy increase with your tax rate also
I
in,
don't think so.
you don't think it's,
I don't think it's the same ratio going up as it is coming down. But I didn't check that, I only checked the other way. I can't.
No, I don't want to go any other way.
Yeah. So,
because we're going that way.
Yeah.
here's the summary of the appropriations for the year. Health insurance, that's up 4%. Public works is up 7.5%. Police is up 4.5%. Fire is down, and I believe that's driven by the retirements that we had this year, 4. Other employee benefits, that's gonna be workers' comp, social security, I think that's where the retirement is, all of those, yeah, that's where the retirement is, because the retirement is driving a big increase in the other branches. Parks, debt service is down, we had a bond come off earlier this year, so that's not, there's no principal and interest forecasted in twenty-six for that particular bond.
Does the 1.825 represent only one note out?
No,
How many
that's all of them.
is your bunch?
Uh,
4?
four, maybe five. I think. It also would include the ban that we have and the interest and, what we would have to pay for the rollover. So.
Oh, bond and ban.
Yes, yes, that's it. And I believe there's a chart in the book which will show that. Capital, that's mostly the CHIPS money, a little bit of, the tree and the, call it the emergency capital for the HVAC. Other and DOT.
Question about the police side of things.
Yes.
I know the police have been on a regular basis operating low, 55, 56, 57 people. They were budgeted last year, I believe, for 64, 65. Where's that extra money that has been saved by them operating below manpower?
Some of it would be in.
You know what I'm saying, if you're down 10 cops, just rough figures off the top of my head, by the time you figure legacy costs, insurance costs, and your whole benefit package, 8 to 10 cops, you're talking over $1 million. Where is that $1 million?
In 26 or 25?
No, what we budgeted in 25 for like 60, I don't know, maybe the chief say 64 or 65 cops is what we budgeted for. But obviously, they haven't been operating at that, so where's the extra money that we've saved by operating those lower numbers? Where is that money?
We haven't spent it, so it would be in the general fund, but it's probably been used to cover other things. And even though they might be down, they have comp time for overtime that gets paid out.
But the overtime is a separate line item on the budget, isn't it? On their budget?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm
it's
just-
salary, I'm thinking all together, so.
right,
So, without looking at my numbers,
sure.
I can certainly go back and figure all of that out.
Yeah, if you could get me, I'd like to see what they were budgeted for 2025
Yep,
and how much they actually spent out of that 2025 number, total,
In that specific line.
on that specific line.
the salary line, the salary.
They've got that, Jeff, on page, first page of the police budget, Department 3120, the year to date. Spent is like 4.5 million, or 6.6 million budget.
So 4.5 was spent, 6.6 was budgeted. So my question is, where's the other $2 million?
You figure, yeah, if you average that out, that's about 1.5 per quarter, so that about 6 million. So it'd be $600,000 in leftover revenue. Spending that we don't spend. That's everything. So $600. That's just my rough calculation, just there.
What page is that on?
It says police budget page 1 of 1, it's police department 3120. The pages are not numbered sequentially.
Right.
A little less than halfway. Isn't it?
Under expenses?
Under expense.
The very top line is salary.
General fund,
So, 6.6, as of September, they spent 4.4, so that's 2.2 million.
right, but that salary number includes everything, includes the overtimes, the comp times, and all impacts and sick or vacation, it includes all of that. So,
Yeah, there's no separate line for overtime.
mm-mm.
That doesn't include grants, does it?
Right.
Grant overtime?
That's, it's net to zero. So you might have grant overtime and then, like the gift grant,
Yeah.
that is offset. Your overtime when we get the money, it is offset. So there's no impact, there should be no impact for that. So I can do a deeper dive on that number for you.
Yeah, just like the, I
Yeah,
mean,
I can.
if you don't spend everything that's in your budget, then where did the balance go? I mean, if I have, you know, extra money in my checking account, then I'm gonna know where it's going. So,
Right there.
But if you compare 24 and 25, Jeff, actual, it's only $500,000.
Right.
It's not up to 2 million or any larger than that.
And that is through September.
No, I'm using 24.
Yeah, but just when you're looking at the 25 number, that is year-to-date September. So, just so that you know,
Yeah, yeah,
October
October.
is three pays this month, so this is, a big payroll month, and then two more, so.
So if there is
that's
any
seven.
salaries that are not spent down, that goes back to the general fund.
Yeah.
One other question about health insurance. Has there been any movement on the financial restructuring board?
I have not heard, the last they told me, shortly. That was a few weeks ago. So I asked.
Shortly, as in like, you're gonna get an answer whether we're getting $1 million or not, or what?
That's kind of what I took it to mean, is they have the paperwork, they're reviewing it, we should have an answer shortly. Yes, they understand that, you know, cash is king, so we should hear something shortly. So
Okay.
I have to prod them again. It's
Okay.
getting to be a lot of time.
Thank you.
Shortly to be.
I guess I needed to ask, how do you define shortly?
No, I mean, before we have to make a final decision.
Yeah, no, I can certainly
We have
ask.
what, 6 weeks?
I don't recall, when is the date for the, Medicare Advantage employees, retired employees? When does that 5-year window run out?
They are starting, the original contracts where they were 25,000, we've had one or two start to come off. I think, by the end of 26, we'll be getting through a big chunk, and then the J1, J2s
Right.
are the end of
We
26.
have one more year.
Yes,
I got one more year.
2027. Yeah,
yes, I think it's January
2027, Jeff.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So I already have that to add to the budget for 2027. So just a breakdown of the payroll. Regular pay, overtime pay. These accounts, these buckets are now in separate ledger accounts in the GL. They used to all just be in one GL account, which I found very hard to, analyze and understand. So I've broken them out, and pretty much the majority of these here, they're all booked separately. So hopefully, Jeff, when I get to that, that'll make more sense. But that's how the payroll is broken out. You can
What's
see
differential payment there?
shift differential.
Just differential?
You can see that we have retirement buyouts projected to be over 700 again in 2026. Comp time is 900, that's a big number.
But that comp time could include someone that has 1 year on the job, correct?
And just as a note, the negative 472, I think in the budget last year, the insurances, and there's a description over to the right, which tells you what it is, coverage for wrongful acts, protects the public officials, auto liability, physical damage, umbrella liability coverages, all of that, so. This says it's up, 11.9%, that's not really what it is, because overall, on the next page, it's a 6.3% increase when you add in all these other little things as well. So we're up $25,000, which is pretty good considering the last year's increase was significant because we had to do the 7-year evaluation and our value went up. So that's pretty good. Fringes, breakdown on the fringes. Police and fire retirement and employee retirement, those two numbers combined are $1 million increase to our fringes projected for next year. Driven by the rate increase, salary increases, all of that is going into those numbers. The health insurance, talked about that, dental, it was minimal increase, social security, that's payroll taxes. Workers' comp is down a little bit. The bill from the county is $88,000 less than what we received for 2025. And because that bill also includes the VPU, our piece is not the entire 88, is less than that, so the impact is favorable, almost $28,000. So our Medicare Advantage premium increase, that's a 5.2% increase this year. Any of the reimbursements in the health insurance for SAFER, ARPA, GIVE, STRIVE, and drug subsidies, that's also netted out of the health insurance number. So this budget number is not the plan cost, that's the entire health insurance budget. There's different pieces to that, so. Here are the rates I mentioned. You can see the 21.1 and the 31.9 for police and fire. And the red number, that's the estimate for the bill that I have to pay in December.
And that's even taking into account our tier 6, I believe, I mean, they put in for their own
Tier 6
percentage.
is where the big jump is. So they're contributing, right, but that's what the big jump is.
And they contribute for their entire career, and it's not like the first 5 years or 10 years, it's the whole career.
Yes,
Yes.
yep.
I think is it 4.5? Do you remember?
I'm not sure on the exact percentage, I just know that we contribute for our career.
Yeah. So, yeah. You would, I would have hoped that number would have gone down by 4.5, not gone up. But, you know, when people are getting hired, they're getting hired in the system. So. And this is the police piece, separate from the fire piece. And then the employees. This is an estimate because the DPU is included in the bill. So I take an estimate of about 40.63%, and that's what I use here because until I work through the numbers with Kevin Carr, and we keep updating up until December to make sure we have an accurate number. That's pretty good. We weren't far off last year, so that's what the projection is. And again, tier 6 is a 4 and 5 are also 4% increases. Retirement is big. And I don't know how they contain that, control it. That's the end of that, and then I'm just gonna jump right to my budget, comptroller budget. So it's $457,591 this year. My salaries are up. I have a retirement in my department next year, and in the budget is replacement for that position slated to begin in mid-May. The person retiring handles the police payroll and AP, and yeah, that's a little scary for me to not having somebody new come in and do the police payroll, so that's why I've asked for a mid-May replacement so that she gets, the replacement can have multiple payroll practice to get through and a couple of quarter ends because of some of the special pays that we have to do. And the payroll is only, it's every 2 weeks, so it's not like you get practice doing it every week. So I had that, there. The Springbrook, which is the software, the accounting software, that's increased about $3,000 this year. My professional fees are up, and I have some bond counsel. The audit fees are going up, capital markets, professional fees, Squire Patton, they handle the bond, the ban, rollover, deferred comp, those pieces are up, the 11, and, the salaries are up with the retirement buyout and the replacement, that's about 46, offset by consultant, we don't have in the budget this year. So, and one thing to note, my department is only 4 people, and if you look at, my department, and they've told me they can all retire by the time of the next mayoral election. So my whole department can turn before the next mayoral election. So it's pretty scary to me to have that kind of turnover, especially because it's all, there's a lot of payroll expertise and insurance expertise in there. So,
I have a question, Erica, the bag of the rate of the 1095 C filing is, you can't do that 1095 C filing in-house. It's a $6,000 item, but $550. Is that search need CPA to do that, or how does that work?
it's an attorney that does it right now. And I believe it's for no one. I would have to look, I don't know what's all involved.
Do you happen to know how long Dresser Malaki's been on our books for our auditor?
I think last year we up to 3.
Okay. And is that $40,000 in that 26 executive budget number, that 457 for the retirement buyout? Under salaries.
On the sheet with all the details.
Yeah, I have.
Yep, there's a number over to the left.
Yep.
Where it says, account 3, it says 100. It should line up.
I see what you're saying, that's the other one.
Yeah, it should line up here. All of those numbers should tie to
Sit
these
bonus,
charts.
comp time,
Yeah, if you wanted to go and add them up, they should all align
okay,
there.
thanks.
You're welcome. That is it for me, unless you have more questions. You do.
We got a few weeks.
We, I had a constituent ask me, I know in past administrations, they used to put out a pie chart. They went out to the mail, in the mail to everyone, and they gave a breakdown. Showed the citizens basically where their tax money was going.
Okay.
That's long gone by the wayside that I recall. I had someone requested if we could start doing that again. I don't know if it went in the, maybe out in a tax bill or something.
It went out.
And
It was
Yeah.
they gave an idea to citizens, like exactly where their money was going, even though it was somewhat a simplistic chart.
Mhm.
But I just think that would be a good idea, maybe speak to the mayor, to start that practice again.
Does that go with the bill?
It goes out with the tax bill. Yeah, we haven't done them for several years. It's about $2,000 to have them printed and included with the bill. So we just haven't been doing that. Can certainly add it into the budget though.
I mean, do you want us to pursue that?
Well, I mean, if it's gonna cost, maybe we could find some more cost-effective way to
Put it
get
on
the
the
message out.
Maybe draft one and keep it on the city's website,
Yeah,
Facebook page,
website,
and
Facebook pages,
Yeah.
something where,
all the socials.
Yeah.
yeah, with the media, print it. and
Some more simplistic chart.
just- It just provides a little more transparency, I think, to the public on where the money's going.
Yeah.
Was that
And where it
just,
comes from through the revenue.
Sure.
was that just the property taxes or?
No, it was, well, it was the whole budget, where, you know, how much
The
money
pie
goes
chart
to.
that's in your book?
Yeah,
Police,
pretty much.
fire,
Yeah.
DPW.
Yeah.
The different departments.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
Erica, I can show you an example
Okay,
tomorrow.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
The newspaper kind of alluded to it. Chart, it wasn't a chart, it was
I can handle that. That one page you put up there, don't have, right, was below by $100,000, what was the percentage?
Yes.
I guess I need to know the first.
Right.
Yes, it's just a lot smaller.
Okay.
right, it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well,
in the book.
I'm not exactly sure because,
That's another-
Yep. It's under the chart section. But do we want it broken down where it says salaries or like department?
Yeah,
Maybe more detailed.
more detailed like it used to be.
So it says police, fire, DPW,
Yeah, we could.
What should we stuff need that?
just has overall salaries and benefits.
25.
yeah, it's quite high, yeah. Right, that's the expense, that's the difference in the expenses year over year, but I would never added that, like, levy. Yeah, I can do that.
I mean, you get the gist of it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
75%
Overall.
salary and benefits.
wages,
Doesn't break them by
yeah,
department.
no,
And it's got capital, contractual equipment. Yeah, if it was broken up more details, so what does that really mean, you know?
So you can break it up within the individual paragraph.
That's what's like.
Rather than like people. Yeah. a coin? Wanna do resolutions? Wanna have the police come up, or who do you want that? You're the boss.
Police, fire, they're similar too, so. All kind of one and the same, or?
Yeah, there's no committee meetings tonight, we'll just go right into the full work session after the presentation.
Well,
Are you
I
ready?
was gonna ask if, which department do you want to start with, I can put it up here if you wanted.
Yeah, if you could, please.
You want, 3120, or do you want to start with, communications?
Well, I start on page 7 of 7, animal control.
You want to start there?
Yeah. Is that where I have?
Yeah.
So, can't see that. We're just
Let me help.
35,
yeah.
The word for
Sorry. Okay. All right.
I got 30, 20, but not 30.
I got 35, 10.
They're expensive. Do we have control of animals?
Gray area. 3510 graders.
Numerically, right?
What are we on?
35, way back.
So there's the summary of the.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to figure out how to do the page numbers better.
You got 34.
Yeah. You gotta keep going. About 5 more pages.
Oh. Yeah, it's numerical.
Just past 3410.
Yeah, right, that's 34, 10. Let's put another one there.
This is the.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Ready? Okay. So one of the biggest issues, believe it or not, is our contract with Pick of the Litter. After we put this together, our contract with them increased $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year for animal control. So, as you may have seen in the media, we've had a lot more animal cruelty cases, which may, in the future, in '26, cost us a little bit more money, which I'm confident in the number that's presented before you. However, I'm just giving you a warning, it has increased quite a bit.
What was their reason for increasing?
I don't know, Elliot worked on that. I wasn't involved in that. Elliot worked on that. We were just told about that actually today.
What exactly do they do, chief?
Pick of the litter?
Yeah, I mean, they take in the dogs, feed them, all that stuff, right?
Yes,
They house them.
yeah, they house it.
So either their owners pick them up or they get.
Yeah, and in a cruelty case, they have to hold them until the court says, you know, what to do with them, until the court case is taken care of, so it can be a long time.
We've had some dogs that have been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, we have. So, it's expensive.
There's probably not many alternatives to that.
I don't think there are any, actually.
Humane Society wouldn't do. Swamp.
No, I know that we've pursued it. We looked into that 4 or 5 years ago and we couldn't come up with anything.
I don't think they're interested because they don't have
No.
a space or. They're gonna do a building project.
Let's see. Moving on to court security, 3170. Page 1 of 1. There are no issues there, that's state. So that's reimbursed by New York State. All the computer equipment, if you can see the same page as I'm looking at, it should be right below court security, page 5 of 7. If your book, it's probably set up the exact same as mine. All the computer equipment's been taken care of. I believe it's on maybe tonight's, so that's not an issue now.
Away from contingency.
Yeah, depending on what you decide, so. Buy money, I think that's good that we got some this year. There's some in there for that. The Axon contract is up for our body cams, so that's starting this year. Vehicle repairs, I'd like to say we won't spend any, but we know how that's gonna go. I think we can work with the amount that's in there.
Chief, is our garage doing your repairs or you got someone else?
Maybe we'll ask.
Yeah, DPW's doing our repairs.
Who's doing it?
Yes.
Is it working out all right?
Yeah,
They're doing oil changes and everything?
yep, they pretty much do everything other than cosmetic stuff.
And warranty.
Yeah, warranty work.
Okay.
Any questions on that page before I move on?
Got the one new police car. Excuse me.
Yes, is that on that page? Is that on the next page? I have that.
0203.
Yeah, I'd like to get 2 cars.
That's probably one.
It is one.
For 48.
It is one, yeah. That is one car. We would really prefer 2 cars. And the deputy chief has the status of all our vehicles with him. If anyone has any questions, he has all the miles of all our cars. Some of them are up to 95,000 miles. They're gonna start breaking and we're gonna spend money. It's just, they're hot seated. So,
Yeah, we have 2 vehicles that have almost 100,000 miles. They put on 35,000 to 40,000, give or take miles a year. So by the end of the year, looking at 140,000 or
So
something.
they must only be, what, 2, 3 years old?
Yeah, they're,
That's a lot of-
I think the 22, I wanna say, is probably the oldest one that we have, but.
Chief, can I make one clarification?
Yeah.
Your body cams, there's the dues and subscriptions and the equipment lease numbers, that's where the body cams are. Part of it is the subscription and part of it is the actual equipment. So it's not one number for 70 that you would see. It's split between the lease for the equipment and the subscription licensing.
It's about the same as it was this year.
Yes. Yes, it initially started out at $114,000 this year. So the salesperson did the
One thing I would take a good look at are the actual amount we got for vehicle repairs. It went down, $50,000 from last year to $10,000. That's
It's a lot.
a big amount, yeah.
Well, you discussed one vehicle versus two with the executive branch of government. You have that debate already. You want two, but she only put one in the executive budget,
I requested two, yes.
okay? And then, the repairs, that came from dropping 50 grand. That was debated or negotiated, or that just came up arbitrarily?
You dropped 50 grand is for 2026, that, you dropped it 50,000?
I didn't drop it.
Whoever dropped it,
Yeah.
it's
That's
for 2026?
with me and the mayor.
That's not realistic.
It was cut.
I don't think that's realistic. But,
Well, that's why we're here to hear.
Yeah.
But if you look at the year-to-date, it's only 3,300.
what is it, Tim?
3,300 is all we spent so far on repairs.
Yeah, but they have new vehicles. They're
Exactly.
not new anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at what we spent 2 years ago. Parts and repairs, it was.
It always looks good when you got new
65,000.
vehicles coming in, obviously, but as soon as those vehicles, as Scott said, 95, pushing 100,000, you're gonna get problems.
Erica, we haven't spent any money on a contingency yet?
Yes, we have, a little bit, yes.
I have that we spent $24,000 on vehicle repairs today. That was today that we looked up, so that might be a little,
Old number.
yeah,
Yeah, that's from September, so.
yeah.
So that might be an option, is to buy another car through before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's an area that I have a concern with,
Yeah.
through our repairs.
And you know, I'm gonna ask you about your seizure money.
This year, I don't know if I have the exact amount, I can get it for you, but
Could we buy you one car and use seizure money to buy your other car? Could
you
you
did
give
that
us,
last year, right?
I don't know.
I know we did it.
That'd been a couple of years. We used all the money last year.
Yeah.
So food, is that what you feed the prisoners?
Yeah.
That's a $1,500 for the son, so,
25% increase.
yeah. Too important.
Erica, maybe you can answer this question. We don't have any money for the DPW salary for vehicle repairs. Did you move that to another category? So like when they do a repair for us and we basically pay, that's not in here anymore, which I'm just curious if that got moved or we just.
I don't recall moving it, and I don't see it. I'm gonna have to look.
Okay.
Body armor, is there still grants from the federal government for reimbursement of body armor for new officers?
No,
That's gone.
it's on hold this year. I reached out to Nick Langworthy's office and they said it's on hold.
So we have to eat the total cost on it.
yes, whenever we hire a new officer, or their vest expires, his or her vest expires.
What about the range, the new range, is that done?
Yes, except for a couple small things, right?
Yeah.
A couple.
That, we don't put any money into that, that was all ARPA money?
Yeah, for the build, we have
You got a line item for
we
something?
have a line item here for
Just for
supplies.
supplies, but the range itself is taken care of.
Yeah. And then we go on to salaries, that's all contractual. And then communications, and I don't have any issues with communications, that's,
So it looks like
can't do anything with that.
the biggest increase on any of these lines is for the retirement allowance. It's about $250,000. That's most of that salary increase for contractual raises.
Do either you or the deputy chief know how many people are eligible to retire in 2026?
Four.
Four total.
Yeah, I think the names are actually on there. Jeff.
They definitely
On page
retired
four,
or
so-
just eligible?
That's for eligible.
Yeah, they're on there. If you see it on page 4 or 7, you see that?
Halfway down.
Yeah, about halfway.
$10,000 to paint the jail.
Huh.
$10,000 to paint the jail.
Oh, we're still looking into that.
Yeah.
There's no urgency on that.
But it's mandated by the state.
It's not mandated. That was my idea because it looks beat up.
Oh, it's not, okay, I was told it was, that's why it says.
Yeah. No, it's not mandated by the state.
Okay.
Randy and Bill will do it, just give them some pizza or something.
Tim Hortons, give it Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Did you find it? To return.
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm on the wrong page. What line is it here?
350,000, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking for the retirement?
Yeah,
4 of 7.
Page 4 or 7.
Yeah.
okay.
What's,
A little more than halfway down.
That's all I have. Open for questions.
Fire department?
Jim, how you get along with other agencies? Anybody bringing up consolidating or regionalism, or, I know it's sometimes always on a back burner kind of thing, but, you know, maybe not in your lifetime or mine, we might have to do something about down the road.
It's mentioned quite a bit at
Very
the,
expensive.
at the chiefs meetings. Actually, since you brought that up, I'll mention briefly that the academy is being changed. We're going to 2 academies a year,
Oh,
a
wow.
phase 1 and phase 2. It's basically how Erie County does it. Due to the low number of recruits in Chautauqua County, last I was told about a month or 2 ago, there were over 20 vacancies countywide for full-time police officers for the whole county. So there's a huge need. So we need to get people, we need applicants, and I think there's, 8 county, Chautauqua County
I
recruits?
don't think there's 8, there's 6 or 7, I think.
So right now, we have 6 in the current academy for 20 vacancies,
Just 6.
6. And,
I saw more people running than that recently.
and both 6 county.
Yeah, so the rest of them are from Cat County,
Oh.
and if they don't cross file on the examination, then they get hired full-time here.
Yeah, so we had to do something, so that's what we're gonna try as a group.
Do you know what the cost it is now for someone to go through the academy? By any chance?
I heard it was like 10,000,
So it's pretty good.
yeah, ballpark, because it's like a full semester right now. So with the miscellaneous fees, equipment, uniforms, it's pretty close to $10,000.
Has there been any talk at all, how agencies used to hire and sponsor people to go through? Has that been discussed at all?
Yes,
So they're actually paid a salary while they're sitting there in the academy?
yes. Salamanca is still doing that. There are a couple of recruits in the academy now that are hired, like you said. And that is being brought up,
I was gonna ask that, 'cause
discussed.
school districts are doing that now, the student teachers are paying. They get paid to be student teachers now. And then if they, we're just kidding, one of the student teachers today is about, he said if he takes a job, he gets a signing bonus if he latches on with a school district. We didn't have that when I was going through.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the future, maybe not in my time,
Yeah.
that it goes to that, but there's a liability with that.
You're staying 10 more years, aren't you?
You said possibly.
Hey, I have one question. I think, remember last year, I think we took a lot of your fuel expense out. How did you end up, how does it look for this year? Last year we took out, didn't we take out fuel? You didn't know if you could make it?
Yes, but you put it back in.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think we're.
And how, is it, I want target over, or under?
We're on target,
You're on target?
if not a little bit under.
Okay.
Real estate incentive for new hires, pilot program, deferred taxes, get some people moving into the city. Like the mayor wants.
You wanted department heads to be able to live outside the city, now you want.
I know.
Well, no, just to incentivize.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Incentivizing, that's all.
Oh,
Yeah.
Got you on that one, Bill.
Guilty.
we're gonna generate more emails now.
Thank you.
Ryan's first hot seat.
You have to bear with me because I've got to figure this out.
34.
Already?
These are just
For me?
expensive.
Yeah, we're ready.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's some revenue.
Anything you wanna highlight or any
Yeah.
concerns or problems?
So as Eric already mentioned, we're down a little over 2% total this year. As far as this budget goes, salaries up front in the 100 account are contractual. Not a whole lot there. I did put in for some capital and as discussed, when the budget was released, need of a new ladder truck. The other thing that was in here for budget, or for capital, would be a new miscellaneous truck for our maintenance. He's using a 2009 F-250 with 47,000 miles on it. It's gonna need probably some significant engine work next year, there's a chance. Don't have any estimates as far as costs associated with that, but it'll probably result in some downtime, and that truck's used to plow 3 stations as well as the training grounds. And do snow removal, so it's a pretty important piece of equipment. replacement SCBA bottles were left in under the equipment line. 6 of them we replaced through the AFG grant, our air packs last year. Had to get rid of what we had previously, and they weren't compatible with our old ones, and the new ones aren't the same type of connections for bottles. But they need hydro tested every 5 years, so we need to start phasing in some spare bottles. We went from 90-some bottles down to 64 with the grant, so trying to slowly increase our quantity of bottles for our air packs over the next few years. The next one was the replacement of water hose. We had $4,000 budgeted in 2025, that only gets us like 4 sections of 4-inch hose. Starting to go bad, just need to slowly start replacing hose. It's just a wear and tear item. So $8,000 left on that right now. Fuel did decrease a little bit from what was requested. I think it was at $34,000, and it's down to $26,993. Based on this year, it'd be okay, but it's depends on increases in fuel consumption due to weather incidents and all that. It's really up and down number for us. So 26 might be pretty tight at the end of the year.
Do you only have one anticipated retirement coming up this year?
Yes, only one. We have 2, don't have to, but most choose to give a year notice, and there's only one that signed up to retire May 22nd. So it's down from the 4 we had last year.
It helps bring the buyout down.
Your new ladder truck's not in this.
No, that capital was removed. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a huge expense, plus,
Yes.
what do you gotta give them, 3 years notice?
The last conversation I had was 36 to 39 months for a bill for a lead time to get one.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
so that has to be planned earlier.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Take some time. It'll probably be a year process just to spec it out and place an order, and then
yeah,
roughly 3 years after that, so we're 4 years out.
right, yeah. Is there much with the safe grants or anything?
No, there's been no new AFG grants. They do some vehicles, but it's usually based on age of the frontline apparatus. I don't know if we qualify or not, and then they change the priorities in the program kind of year to year. When we got the air packs last year, that was one of their top 5, I would say, items, and it just kind of rotates, so really have to wait for the program guidance to come out to gauge whether to go for a truck or not.
Yeah, the problem was that 4-year out time, ladder trucks can keep going up in price. Yeah. And a lot of times, they don't even have to hold you to their initial price, right?
Yeah.
They upped our sky workers, I know that, for the parks department.
Mhm.
They know they did. With the price they gave, they said, no, more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were making,
Concerning.
yeah.
Can you explain to us how 207A works?
207A,
Yes.
if a firefighter goes off on a disability, they can apply for a disability pension. Get that. The 207A is the part that is made up by the city to make that firefighter whole.
So when someone goes out on 207A, they receive 100% of their salary, correct?
Correct.
Is it, so much comes from the state and then the city has to make up the rest? salary.
Correct, depending on if they end up with a performance of duty disability.
Right.
If they end up with 75% from the pension system or 50%, the city has to make up the remainder.
Right, and that's law, that's been around for a very long time
Yes.
for firefighters.
Is that, do you have to be, is that temporary disability too? Because say they do a thing and the doctor says you've gotta be out for 6 months. The same thing applies for that, temporary, rather than you can't go back to be a fireman anymore, you're on total disability for forever.
The 207A in the budget would be just those retired. The 207A, you're made whole if you're injured while at work too, but the budgeted 207A would be just those, I think there's 2 to get the makeup amount to make them whole in retirement.
So these numbers then are in addition to their state disability retirements.
Correct.
Does it end at social security?
71, Erica, do you happen to know offhand?
I think it's when we turn 70.
70?
70?
Then the city's portion drops off, is what you're saying?
Can we anticipate the DFT long distance fiber link going away with the implementation of the BPU's fiber? At $12,000, and that's only for the fire.
That's a more deep question.
That's fine, that's fine, I just saw it, and
About
it's,
that.
question.
I can ask him,
I mean, it's budgeted, so.
yeah.
Yeah, we would get a bill from the BPU, we wouldn't get it for free.
Right, and I would expect it to be a little
It
bit
might
of a
not be.
decrease.
Right.
Why the 9.75% increase from the BPU on the utility charge?
For electric. That is-
You own it.
Listen, the first number I got for fuel was, 10 to 20%, so, that has come down, that's not
Well,
what it's in there.
actually, today, gas nationwide is the lowest it's been since 2021, at an average cost of $3.09 a
And look
gallon.
at
Now, that's not what we're paying,
No,
but I'm just saying, things to
No.
look at.
I've been complaining that for months. And
The utility numbers I got from Kevin.
Okay. Well, that's Martine about that DFT. Thank you.
Other than a truck and a ladder truck, or a miscellaneous truck, what else might be on your wish list that she didn't include in this executive budget?
As far as capital,
Or any other item that might be appropriate to ask for? Or need?
yeah, initially I had in 12 air bottles just to try to get our numbers back up from the 64 up towards 80. That was cut to 6, like to increase the amount that we have back up with those, and they rotate out to the hydro test, so to keep them all on hand and keep our numbers up. The ladder truck, the pickup truck, our Medic 35 is a 2017 Ford Explorer. I'd like to rotate that back in and,
On the revenue side, Ryan?
yes,
Our projection on the second ambulance didn't come in as high as we had hoped. Is that understood, or we just were short a few months, or are we gonna make that difference up moving into 26?
as of the 16th, when we ran the numbers, it was $272,708, revenue. It's kind of been up and down. We're just under 1,000 transports this year, and 175 of those are with ambulance too. Erica's put together a run rate of 337,000 end of year roughly, but of course that can fluctuate up or down. The last few days have been quite steady, but it may also slow way down drastically too. It's a real variable.
So is it safe to say that number can change? For this purpose, possibly?
I have, I think it on the revenue page. I'm looking under
Pre-audit budget,
What's the budget?
run rate. No. I don't think I have it printed.
revenues.
It could be that it's a run rate through September, so we're three weeks into October, I could rerun it and see, but I think that's what Ryan has is the number. So,
And the revenue one is 337,615 for 2026.
is that close to what I gave you for the run rate?
As of October, yeah, we were a little higher in September, but we're right around there.
That's because we still have a couple weeks in October.
So not a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's not be adjusted.
We can adjust it.
Like any other revenue, it's
It's like throwing darts.
well, it's like any other revenue, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, that reminds me, I did forget to mention, that this year we have the adult use cannabis as a new revenue stream. That's in the budget, and I only have 2 quarters as a basis to calculate a run rate. I'm waiting for the county to, provide the 3rd quarter, revenue, because they're waiting for some paperwork, or they have to figure out exactly how to allocate those funds. So that might be a number that would change should I get what the 3rd quarter is. Sorry.
Well, you put 42,000 in on the assumption that we're close. What you're running for.
So, maybe there's a little bit more there.
Anything
I do
else?
have one more thing. Fire, if you recall, the Teams, Microsoft Office Teams was last year, or this year, ARPA was paying for some of those licenses, and then in 2026, all the departments would be responsible for paying their own, licenses for all of their users. This is driving this increase in using subscriptions for fire. So, I just, it is a real number.
In case somebody
Yeah,
questions it.
yeah. Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, Teams, all of that. So, there's 60, Ryan, how many people?
67.
67, and I think it's 243 per, it's $20.24 per license per month per. So, it builds up to be this 16.
Pretty expensive. How often is it used?
365 days a year?
Teams?
For putting place in fire.
Yeah, we went from 825 to 3,011. Yeah, cool. Whatever we want to have a computer. I mean, this is for, the council numbers are getting billed separately.
Because, yeah, you should have a city email
Okay.
and should be able to use the Teams function,
Okay,
so.
so we're all
You can
individually,
chat or call, if you need to know how to use the Teams.
don't call me.
Oh, you might like it though. You might like it.
Wow.
Any other questions for fire? Liz, Erica, anybody? Thank you. So next week, 6:30, I believe, we have a voting session. We'll do Parks and DPW at 6:30 to when we're done. Allude to those departments beforehand, if you have any questions on those, or ask ahead of time.
We'll do that up here.
Yeah, we'll do it up here.
Everything here then.
And then hopefully we'll have a few minutes to go sign the resolutions and we'll go down to